All right, good luck to all the players competing in this game. Let's see how this goes. This is the second semifinals, which is this. It makes this the second to last series today. After this, we'll have the best of 5 grand finale, and that'll be a wrap for the 2v2 tournament. I want to give a quick shout out to my channel sponsor. Even though this tournament was community funded and we're doing this for the people, NordVPN still helps me keep the lights on and pay rent. So guys, if you could do me a favor and check out nordvpn.com/base, you can type !Nord in the Twitch chat. It'll give you an easy peasy link. Click that bad boy. Even if you're not interested in buying a VPN, go ahead and click it. It helps me out a bunch. But you can get like 70% off with our code BASE or by using that link. Works out to be like $3.50 a month for a VPN. Pretty affordable, pretty convenient, and pretty nice. One last time, it's !Nord in the chat. We're hopping into our second semifinal series, spawning here to the top right side of the map. 2 halves of the same 3D. We have the blue Zerg
Basset
and his ally
B.
I want to give a quick little nod to 3DB, by the way. We had a problem with this player for some time. He would sign up for a lot of tournaments but never check in, or he'd check in and walk over. We had a talk with him about it, and we haven't had that problem since. So I just want to give a high five to this guy for improving, because some people can be shitty and stubborn, but B's been a lot better. So I'm glad to see him playing today. Spawning here to the bottom side of the map, though, we have a pretty tough contender. The recent Team Liquid acquisition, the Red Protoss,
Harstem.
And his ally, the French Zerg
Denver.
Yeah, Harstem and Clem. That's still wild to me that they got picked up by Team Liquid. It's not like, oh my god, unbelievable. How could they get picked up by a good team? They're not good players. No, nothing like that. But it's just like Harstem to me has always been like a solo show. I know he's been on teams, right? But the brand is Harstem. Hashtag Year of Harstem. The fact that he's been brought on to Team Liquid makes me very happy because I think he'll be a good fit for them, but I also think they will be a good fit for him. Denver, of course, still rocking and rolling Infinity Gaming. Probably one of my favorite French players right now. That title used to be held by DNS, but DNS hasn't really been around so much recently. So between Clem and Denver, they've been just an absolute blast to not just work with, but cast. Like they're just fun and talented players. And for whatever reason, France puts out really good Starcraft players. France and Poland particularly. I'm not saying like it's better or like Germany, you got Hero Marine and Showtime, and I'm not here to say best. It's not Nation Wars, but just like in general, French over the course of Starcraft 2 have been pretty good in terms of playing. So glad to see Denver keeping that up. Harstem here with them. They get on the map here, a little bit of presence. We've seen heavy artillery like what 3 times now today. So even if you're like me, unfamiliar with the map, kind of getting used to it. I like this back pocket base. It's I don't know if you guys ever have this. Okay, this is actually a real talk question for the casuals out there. I'm not looking for the pro opinion. This is for you, the gold leaguers and below out there. When you get into these 2v2 or these team games, because sometimes the 3v3 maps have these too, do you ever get like kind of passive aggressive about who takes the safe base? Because this is a real problem I have. This is like an ego thing I have. I'm like, I should have that fucking base. Fuck you, that's my safe pocket base. You go take the one that's out there and dangerous. This is my base. And I'm not saying I'm right for this, by the way, but like if my ally takes it after I've claimed the base called dibs, I'm like, bro, you don't respect the rule of dibs. I don't respect you as a teammate. I hope we fucking lose this game. Then you get super toxic. You don't throw the game because your MMR still matters to you, but you know, you get a little toxic about it. This is your comfy homebody. No, I'm just a shitty player. Zerg players never get the save base. You know what? Sometimes I wish they would. You know what's the worst thing? There's a clip out there. I'm sure somebody has this on copy paste of Zombie Grub absolutely screwing me over. We were playing team games way like years back, and she was playing Zerg, and she kept spreading creep everywhere I would try and build an add-on. So I would like finish the factory add-on and go to swap it off. Boom, creep tumor. Now I can't land my building, and I've wasted a tech lab. Zombie Grub's like the worst kind of teammate. She's the one that's good at the game, but doesn't play like it. And you know what? I don't care. Fucking tell her I said that. She knows it's true. Anyways, getting back to this, we have a pretty decent attack going. I'm sorry, way off topic there. The Phoenix are an interesting assist from Harstem. Not at all surprising, though. We've talked about this. Every Protoss player we're probably going to see just go Phoenix in these games. But it's double Zerg as the counter. And for Denver, funny enough, like a Baneling is more powerful because it's 2 Zerg on the defense. But it's Roaches, it's Queens. These Banelings aren't going to have the power that I think Denver wanted them to. There's no drones to grab here, so they're going to walk out of this killing a hatchery, but that's kind of probably like full stop. I can't imagine this causing too much more damage. We always fight over the easy expos, can confirm. Good to see I'm not alone. It's one of those things that I feel like we all secretly do, but how many of us are willing to admit to it, you know? It's like looking at porn. Like, you do it. We all do. We know you do it. These Banelings, by the way, are trying their darndest to keep everything off of Harstem. Pretty good assist there. A couple Lings still do manage to slip in, and I guess that's a couple of probe skill, but ultimately not bad. Keeping a couple Banelings on reserve for this follow-up Ling round by would have been great. I don't know if he has any left. Okay, he's got 2 left. Getting a little chaotic here, but nothing that I think they can't manage. B and Basset don't have a lot of firepower to work with right now, but it's worth noting that Basset's the only one really behind in the game, quote unquote. Like every other player sitting up on a pretty high worker count. Bassett's the one that's going to be trailing behind a little bit here. And with him losing things like Banelings getting picked off by these Phoenix, it is unfortunate. But at the same time, he knows the energy is being used here, so there's not going to be a counterattack where these are picking up 100 drones. So they know the pacing of the game from this. Roaches get in now on the front line too. There's not a lot of energy to lift these up. There's a couple of Banelings that need to be focus fired by said Roaches. Now that the Banelings have been removed, suddenly Bassett's got a little bit more power. It's a surround on the Adept. That's a nice kill. Roach to Roach count, I think, favors B in this situation. 22-9. Uh-oh. Yeah, these Phoenix wasted so much energy picking up those Banelings. I actually, to a degree, I think Basset was on purpose making them in front of Harstem, hoping he would bait out the energy. Now that he's done this, it's given a lot more opportunity for B to get in here and do some serious damage. Now, until the workers start... Oh, he denies speed! I was going to say, until the workers start going down, this isn't really lasting damage, but Denver taking that speed loss is going to prevent him from doing a counterattack. I think that the very typical response you would see in a 1v1 at least would be, okay, you take this damage, you hold off the army, then you counterattack and retaliate. With speed being denied and Roach production being shut down, Denver's in a pretty tough spot. He's waiting on Harstem to help him out here, but Harstem's Phoenix have been dry for so long, probably because he looked at Wardy. I'm sorry. But he also has Void Rays coming out now, so this should eventually push these off. And yeah, this is going to be a hold here for the bottom team. It was messy and it was far from perfect, but at the end of the day, B still comes out of this with a pretty big supply lead over everybody else. Granted, most of the supply is Roaches, and that's not going to be that helpful against Phoenix Void Ray, but as the pressure continues, this does give Basset time to, like, they're continuing with an all-in. But you'll notice Bassett's been building drones. He's been trying to recover from that earlier damage. Sadly, I think the cost of B's army wasn't... I don't know if it's worth it. Like, he's got to get in here. They've got to run past these spawns, past the Roaches, and start killing some workers to have made this really worthwhile, right? No amount of army trading is really lasting damage if you're trading evenly, especially with Void Rays in the sky. You got to hit him economically. So here we go. Harstem finally losing some probes. This brings him down a peg, and now suddenly Harstem's a lot more closer to Basset than prior, and Basset doesn't feel as out of the game. They are outclassed in tech, though, and I'm terrified of how they're going to handle these Void Rays in Phoenix. I don't think they will. They're trying to get towards Hydras and stuff, but it feels too far away. God, if Denver had speed, he'd be over here assisting too. I just really want to highlight that Roach Horn pickoff was big, not just because it stopped the Roaches, but like denying speed was huge. That was not a clean hold, but like they held... Oh. Oh. He knows about this, right? Okay, he sees them. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I guess like one probe kill out of that. That's not that impressive. Well, Chaos turned to oddly passive as both players are recuperating from the fight. Harstem still has that map presence here through the Phoenix, and I think what's a really difficult shutdown is this has pretty much denied vision. you know, it's 2 Zerg players, and with 2 Zerg players, you'd expect there to be super creep highways and overlords all over the map, but not the case. There's a giant, massive anti-air missile turret thing here. Why can't they just jury rig it to shoot the Phoenix? I mean, look at the size of those missiles. Those missiles are like the size of a Marauder. It'd be on that note, that would be a fucking sick thing to do. Launch a Marauder up in the sky, have it shoot a bunch of the Phoenix on his way down. He's not planning to land, but he's planning to take a lot of units out with him on the way down. Now that would be cool though if there was some sort of control scheme, like a little point you could control or something. I don't know. It looks cool, but yeah, it's meant to be decoration. It's not about balance. Loading Marauders into siege tanks is anti-air. Yeah, it'd be like Stukov's Marines. You know how Stukov grabs like an infested Marine and then fires it at the enemy and it explodes on him? That's kind of what I'm thinking about here, but like with anti-air cannons.
I like money.
I also like money. Thank you for the $13.37, Anonymous. I can't read your message right now, but I'll check it after this game's done. Or if we get a little bit more downtime. You know what? Fuck it. It's a 2v2 tournament. Let me open up Stream Elements. These Ravagers are actually pretty scary. I credit where it's due. I think Ravagers from 2 players could do a lot of damage, but of course it's Ravagers from 1 and Hydras from the other. Still a good combo. Still a very powerful combo. When you think about what is a normal 1v1 thing to do, you see Roach Ravager, Roach Hydra, but usually the numbers from one are too small for the other to have properly been supported. You know, too few Roaches mean the Hydras are opened up, but with a player dedicated to Roaches and Ravagers and a player dedicated to Hydras and Ravagers, the amount of firepower out of this double Zerg army is actually incredible right now. Oh, the message said, love you, bud. Thank you so much, man. That's lunch right there. I'm gonna get some Subway later. Thank you. Townfire make it to the front line only to have to turn around. Storm's only halfway done. How many Ravagers is this total? It's actually not that many when you consider it, but this is a lot when you pair it with 37 Hydralists stuttering forward. Who cares about the Interceptors? What Interceptors? They've all been removed from play by the Hydras. And rains of curtains. Oh, deadly fire from above. Void Rays are going down to the Hydras and the Corrosive Vials. Denver trying to hold this ground fight with the Roaches, but the Roaches are starting to dissipate, and the Ravager army and the Hydra army still stand strong. So while Bastet kind of loses out on his front line, B's still going hard. And if B, you know, he's cleared out a lot of the Interceptors. If he starts getting on top of the carriers, that's going to really leave a mark. But his focus here has to be on the Roaches. If he can break the Roach count here with Basset before Basset runs out of units, this is game over. But he doesn't break this. Denver holds. The Storm comes out. Not really. The carriers are not that convincing, actually. The Interceptors are nah. But Queens are brought here. Some transfuses, but it may have come a little too late. Okay, the Hydras start doubling back in. Pairing up together. This is gross. I love it, though. The synergy between red and green, or excuse me, the synergy between blue and green right now, between B and Basset, has actually been off the charts. Like, it's not just that the 2 Zerg armies complement each other. It really feels like these two are playing as a very coherent, cohesive, rather, unit in this 2v2. Queen's transfusing the Hydras from his ally. You love to see it. That's teamwork, baby. The Hydras are very important and very valuable, obviously. More transfuses would be better. Some of these Ravagers are a little low, too. Storms hit once again. Denver continues to hold this front line, though. Harstem helping with a little bit of fire from the sky, but, man, we really got to give props to Denver. If at any point Denver had slacked with his Roach production or his Ravager production, if these Spine Crawlers weren't here, like, he would not have bought the time for Harstem to even get the carrier count up to, like, 9. This is actually fantastic play out of Denver. Like, I'm actually so impressed by it. Even if they lose, Denver gets the MVP award this game, in my honest opinion. Harstem's trying to buy time, though. He needs these Interceptors to work. The problem right now is he's been leaving these on the front line. So every time a new Interceptor builds, the Hydras kill it before it has a chance to join its friends. So instead of coming here with a massive army of Interceptors, he's coming in really half-cocked, and these carriers have not had much damage output. Now that he's been able to buy some time to build all these Interceptors, Harstem's about being a king of this battle. There is not enough anti-air left to deal with this like he could before, and these Hydras are just getting focus fired down. Not many Queens here to really assist either, and of course, once all those fall apart, you bet these carriers kill the Roaches. So a messy defense, but Harstem is the clutch. I like the Zealot Warpin too. Just buys a little bit of time here, blocking them out from the mineral lines. Actually holds the line entirely shut down. Denver's a little bit light on cash now. He comes out of this losing a lot of workers, and he's in a pretty shit spot if we're being honest. But this may have been just enough time for Harstem. 3DB had like 37 Hydras earlier, down to 8. And even though he's producing more, it will never be as powerful as that first attack was, because their economy was kind of shot through this too. And since then, they've mined out bases, etc. But Denver really, he needs to get something going here. He doesn't have the means to fight. He doesn't have the means to play economically. Harstem could maybe throw him some minerals to help him get back on track. But ultimately, I think what Harstem needs to do is just push. If he sits at home and plays defensively, the 2 Zerg players with good economy on the other side of the map will run away with this game. There's no question in my mind about it. I think it's very important he actually segmented a carrier home. 2 even would have been good, but I guess he'll rely on production. This is so sick. Harstem's playing a hell of a game. Denver too, but like Harstem now with the carry, he comes in with the carriers. He's got storms underneath this too. Let's not forget these Templar each have about 1 storm per person. So even if 3DB has a huge Hydra army, it's going to be a lot of storms and carriers he's got to chew through. Both players actually going Hydras now. So there will be close to almost 50 Hydras in play at this rate by the time the carriers probably take a fight. Did I just see Templar auto attack and kill a drone? I didn't even think Templar auto attacks could kill anything. You know, in 1v1, carriers are not that impressive. Normally you see Corruptors be a super hard counter, but I think there's still a problem here with the Hydras. Like, they could just kill all the interceptors. They don't have to actually engage with the storms. They don't have to fight the carriers. Once you shoot the interceptors, you neuter them. But big storms land on top of this. The spread comes in, and while this was like 38 Hydras, has quickly become 26 and 23. I think he's still gonna push this back. If this was 2v2, like truly 2v2, like Denver was here supporting this with roaches, easy fight for Harstem. But Denver has been in full recovery mode. Like the base up here was killed or canceled. Either way, he's on 1 base mining. A lot of his tech bleeding out as we speak. In fact, oh, he doesn't have lair. He can't drop creep to save it. He's gonna lose his Banling Nest. And my big reason for this is like if your opponent is Zerg going double Hydras, just go Banlings, right?
Okay. Maybe we can trick him up this round. Go, 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 go! I don't think he realizes what's happening.
No. Oh my god. Okay, let's go.
No, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Nice.
Whoa, Denver's got a couple lurkers. I didn't think these lurkers. Oh man, you didn't see the lurkers at all. There was so much focus on the carriers. 3 lurkers just chunked half this army, and the carriers cleaned up. GG, well played, ladies and gentlemen. Harstem in Denver take game number 1. Whoa. Anyways, yeah, let's hop back into it, guys. It's the 2v2 tournament. There's no big fancy name, no silly shenanigans. This was a tournament that started based off of beastyqt's Twitch community just wanting to have more 2v2 stuff. TJ Juxon ended up being an MVP and super kickstarted that prize pool. And this has led to these 4 cups. Remember, this is just the first one. We have another one coming up on Friday for North America. And then next week, another one for Europe as well. Lots of good 2v2 action. So I know there's not a lot of 2v2 tournaments. Get your fill while you can, and make sure you don't miss out on these shows by following the Twitch channel and getting those notifications when I go live. So basically what I'm saying is please follow the channel, guys. But let's get into it. Game number 2, bottom right side of the map. We got the 3D combo. It is
B.
and his ally.
Basset.
Why is Protac not in this tournament? Because Protac is probably a very toxic coward who would have to actually lose on a stream and come to terms with the fact that he's not as good of a player as he thinks he is what I would say, but I don't know is the real answer. To the top left, we have the Teal Protoss.
Harstem.
And his ally.
Denver.
Real talk though, I used to be a huge fan of Protac. When I back in the day when I was on Watch the Star, it was I always talk very fondly about how I used to watch Dragon and 4GG. but I rather ashamedly leave out the fact that I used to watch a lot of Pro Tech. I was super obsessed with team games when I was getting into Wings of Liberty, and I thought they were so fun. And Pro Tech was like a big team game streamer, right? Now I'm gonna stop mentioning his name here because I don't want to give him more credit, because I learned very quickly what a horrible example he sets, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. So yeah, Pro Tech has never once competed in a single 2v2 tournament to my knowledge, and certainly none that I've hosted, and I don't think we will ever see him do that either. Bring Deezer back. No, we are, you know what I'm glad about? I wasn't part of the scene, quote unquote, when Rats Deezer was a meme. I got in like just afterwards, so I got the really annoying memes with none of the context. Him and Combat Axe and like a bunch of these other people just left such like a bad taste. So when I got into it, it was like I saw these names, I looked them up quick on Google, I'm like, oh boy, don't touch that with like a 10-foot pole. Now, years later, we look back on it, it's funny, it's laughable, haha, what a stupid meme. But like at the time, those guys were the worst. Oh, look, okay guys, I don't want to get into it. That's not what this stream's about. Y'all can go do your own research. I'm just not interested in advertising people I don't think are worth advertising. Let's just leave it at that. Super simple. Anyways, Harstem and Denver. To recap game one would be stupid. What was really cool though, I just like Harstem went for the carriers. Obviously that was the big showstopper. Oh, they sprayed salt. I was wondering why that drone was over here. He sprayed salt. But for me, I think the silent MVP of that game still goes to Denver. That Roach hold while Harstem was getting to his air units was critical. If Denver didn't defend that the way he did, it was game over. A similar situation I think is about to arise with this big Ling Baneling all in. Double Zerg is very aggressive and very scary to fight, but if Denver gets a couple of Banelings out here, 1 or 2 Banelings could shut down both of the Zerg armies if done correctly. So a little bit of chaos in the main base, a lot of chaos here in the natural. It's tough to say though. He's got so few Banelings, you know, you use them up now, but then you don't have any for the follow-up. You don't know whether your opponent has Banelings, because remember, while this goes on, Harstem and Denver, they don't have much vision of what's coming, just a couple of Overlords. And they're certainly not looking over there as they chase around these Zerglings in their main bases. Adapts would be very ideal to have lots of here, but of course, shield batteries, fighting near those will be the cinch. I think they got this though, and I say this not based off of what I see immediately, but this is Harstem and Denver. They both have a lot of experience fighting against this 1v1. If they could somehow fight this off in 1v1, but then couldn't handle it when both of them work together in 2v2, I would be astonished. But you see, Denver's been using his Banelings very conservatively. It'd be very easy for him to just send them in there and explode on a bunch of Lings. Oh my god! Basset just killed. We had like no Zerglings killed up to this point. Then Basset just killed like 20 something with that Baneling hit. That was amazing. But this is still chaos. The Phoenix are the least helpful thing in this situation. They can scoop up a couple of the Banelings and at least prevent those from hitting, but they don't have any damage to help kill the Lings. So this is a game that is going to, once again, I feel, be on Denver. Harstem, if he can remove the Banelings from the other two Zerg players, Denver can theoretically have an advantage through his own Banelings, right? As long as he doesn't have to make that trade, 2 Banelings for 2 Banelings, then he's going to have, I think, the boss sauce. But while this goes on, I mean, this is just a flood. It's a constant flood. They are all in. Like, make no mistake. 3D, B, and Basset, they ride or die together. And in this situation, it's not quite either. It's Schrodinger's outcome. This is the dead and alive until we measure it, I guess. But bad, terrible joke references aside, though, these Phoenix can't help with the Lings. That's where the Adepts are supposed to come into play. Fighting around the shield batteries, these Adepts are solid. I like the Spine Crawler a lot. Looks like most of the main bases have been cleared up. These two traded out so far to the point where at least the worker count is similar, but they're going to be so far behind tech-wise. And Harstem, all things considered, we haven't talked about it. Harstem hasn't lost hardly anything through this fight. Like, sure, 18 probes for 118 Zerglings and 103 Zerglings? I take that trade. I take that trade 9 times out of 10. That's fantastic. So at some point, they're going to have breathing room. And at some point, Harstem's defense, like he just holds position on the ramp and then they can't surround anymore. Stuff like that. You know, he's just, at some point, this gets so good that they can counterattack. It's not happening right now. These Phoenix are out of position, so they're not actually here to help zone out the Banelings. Those actually get a really good connection on the Adepts, but That being said, this is still manageable. Super, super manageable. What about that 1 time out of 10? Dude, never, ever, ever underestimate a player's ability to throw a 1 game of Starcraft 2. You could be so far ahead in a game and still throw away a victory, man. You know it. I know it. That's that 1 time out of 10. Look, I said it before. There's no tech to really fall back on. I think B and Basset might be at the end of their run here. But these two showed really good teamwork, and I really hope we'll see them play in the next TV2 tournament, because forget any other big names out there. I want to see these two hyper-aggressive Zergs fight other players. As they continue to surround the adepts, he's fighting within the shield batteries. We got banlings coming in here for the easy cleanup too. The army supply is really dwindling. All players are at around 20 or less army supply, except for Harstem, who's on 40. And I really didn't like the Phoenix. I thought, man, these Phoenix are going to be garbage. They can't lift anything up. But the precise pickoffs on the banlings up to this point have been so critical to Denver taking the advantageous fight that while the teamwork for Harstem and Denver I don't think is as obvious, it's definitely there, and they are synergizing very well with one another. And a quick reminder, because there's been a little bit of time here, you know, this is the other semifinals. We got Goblin and Euthermal waiting in the grand finals. Hopefully those two are cooking up strategies to maybe deal with these two, because man, it's going to be tough fighting them. Harstem and Denver just have to defend to win, says Multhor Lurker, and you would be correct. But I don't think they're going to just defend and win. That's not, like, they are in such a good position now. Honestly, whatever they decide to do, shy of move commanding into banlings, should be fine. I mean, the Phoenix can harass without too much repercussion. Denver just has to not slack on the defense. Harstem still has these adepts over here. I think that was a kill, not a cancel on the hatchery. That's 2 dead hatcheries for Denver. That stings. That stings a little bit. But Harstem and Denver have such good worker count that economy is not a problem. Not right now, at least. Yeah, things just kind of settled down a bit, but man, find me more action than this in a 1v1. I'll wait. This, when I agreed to do these 2v2 tournaments and I talked about the whole like eating the cost and just volunteering my time and stuff, this is why. Like, this is so worth it to me. Like, it'd be cool if I could make some money off of a broadcast, sure, whatever. But knowing that we're getting games that are this action packed, like, you just don't get this in 1v1s. It's a very, like I said, it's like a vacation. It's a staycation in StarCraft, you know? You're not going too far, but you can have a really good time. It's a little bit different than what you're used to. And, oh, man. The Phoenix getting around here fighting off. Look, you know, whoa, what's better than having 1 mineral line of drones to kill? 2 mineral lines of drones to kill. All right, there's not a lot Harstem has to do here. I'm pretty sure the biggest thing that this did, more than killing workers in the mineral lines, it confirmed a lot of scouting information. It let them know what the tech looked like. It let them know that these guys were pretty far behind and that their damage early game wasn't worth it. And all of that reaffirmation just lets them now casually move towards carriers. And they could probably continue expanding. Denver especially, I would hope, takes a 4th base. Remember, he's been playing a little bit handicapped. Like, that earlier damage done kept him a little bit worse off economically, but he's recovered very well. His army count is low, but so is the other teams. Actually, I think Harstem right now has more army supply than all 3 other players combined in this game. Look at Protoss OP, am I right, guys? How many overlords have died? 9 of Basset's overlords have died. That's painful. That's 900. That's almost 1,000 minerals of overlords, and added to the potential supply block there. I mean, the thing is, though, you know you're not in a good position in the game of StarCraft when you lose 9 overlords and you're still not supply blocked. Like, you are either wicked far ahead or wicked far behind, and I don't think it's the former in this situation. Well, guys, as this kind of winds down a little bit, I am going to take this time to shout out the Matcherino page again. We do have free coupon codes available for you guys to cash in. I guess, ironically, with the results of today, the coupon code is free money for Beastie and Max packs. If you type exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat, you can just easily copy paste that code. It's a long one. We did it for a joke. We literally broke their coupon because their coupon thing was set up to take like 5 to 10 like digit codes. I was talking to my good friend Michael over there, and he's like, I don't think we're able to do this. I'm like, bruh, please? He's like, let me fiddle for a while. 2 hours later, promo code Beastie, free money for Beastie and Max packs was made. We broke the system to make it happen. But I bring this up kind of casually because while this winds down, we are at over $1,000. We have reached all of our stretch goals for this tournament series, and that's fantastic. Any additional funding at this point is just going to funnel towards making bigger, better prizes and making this tournament better in every way possible. So please, even if you don't want to use your own hard-earned cash, use the free coupon code. It'll take about a hot second to do so. Yeah, we're over 1K. Yeah, hell yeah, we are, dude. Oh, TJ Jackson, guy who carried this prize pool. Thank you so much, man. All right, look, I've been talking a big game of Smack here because it's like a long, slow death coming, but I should note that Harstem's not going to be able to just move in here, right? Like, he's up in army supply still. That's very valuable to know. But it is essentially kind of 2v1. Right now, Denver's got a lot of bases, and he's recovered. He's got lurkers. He's got things to assist the carriers with. But he doesn't have a lot. However, I think very similar to the way the last game ended, if he can get those lurkers fighting with the carriers, or hell, just be on permanent defense so Harstem can stay on permanent offense with these carriers and not have to come home every 3 seconds to defend run-bys. These lurkers are actually a really smart move out of Denver. Isn't Harstem Team Liquid? Yeah, dude. Recently joined like this past month even. Him and Clem. Wait, did Clem play today? I know I was looking forward to seeing Clem play. I didn't see if he was on the brackets or not though. Man, we just had so many people sign up today. It was awesome. All right. Look, this is probably the end of 3DB and Basset. Denver could just walk those lurkers with him. He's got no hive tech, so actually I take that back. He doesn't have adaptive talons and no quick burrow, but I mean, Harstem could do something really critical here. He could kill all the overseers before the carriers lose their interceptors, and that's exactly what you see him doing there. If there's no detection for the lurkers, Denver's just king, baby. And as he walks up here, yeah, there's four overseers. Carriers are diving in on the right side, kills those carriers, kills the hydras. Lurkers providing that ground support, and while the carriers are actually starting to run out of interceptors, these lurkers are not running out of juice. The only thing they're running out of is range. So they'll have to unburrow and reposition, but a very good hold, crushing 2 armies at once. Now it's just the waiting game as they walk across the map. Oh, okay. Hey, for effort, some Bane drops. These are not going to have +2 melee, so it's not a one-shot. Plus, oh, there's cannons. Look, we know the game is probably ending over here. I want to see if this baneling's actually getting anything done. That's all I care about at this point. Okay. Get some damage done. But hardly anything. Scratching the surface of Harstem's economy. Now the mothership. Oh, somewhere out there, Roddy is so mad that this is actually not going to be a negative 400 meme. Mothership living to the end. Time warp goes down. GG. Well played. Good luck in the finals. What good guys. Even on their way out, classy to the end. But Harstem and Denver take this series 2-0.